Hi, I'm Mag. This is the first video in a series in which I plan to publish information and guides to help the Classic WoW community. I'll spare you any more introduction because you're here for the sake of the title, and I'm here to deliver on that. So, there's three categories of loot in the Molten Core, based on original vanilla. These are items added on release, items added in patch 1.4, and items added in patch 1.5. So, what does that even mean? Well, it means some items are going to be added to the loot table in later phases, and I'll expand on the details here. The information that we have 100% set in stone is that all Classic WoW items are in their 1.12 state. This means their stats will reflect the version of the item that was in the vanilla 1.12 patch. We also know that in general, items released with later patches in vanilla will also be released with later phases in Classic. The specifics on this are quite fuzzy. I have two sources of information regarding items by patch or by phase, and the first is a tweet from Ian Hazakostas in which he states, I'd expect 1.4 editions would be phase 2, 1.5 editions would be phase 3. In general, phase 2 is 1.3 to 1.4, phase 3 is 1.5 to 1.6, phase 4 is 1.7 to 1.8, etc. There may be some exceptions I'm failing to recall, but that's the general structure. The other source of information, which conflicts this statement, is Wowhead's classic database stating the phase in which an item is added on the items page. The general rule of thumb I saw there on Wowhead is stating the group of patch 1.4 items are in phase 1 and the 1.5 editions are in phase 3. Now, I don't know if this information is data mined or based purely off of conjecture or something else entirely, but it seems off. Why would 1.4 items be out on launch if the 1.5 items had to wait until 2 whole phases later, which could span several months? We don't know exactly yet. So, for the sake of this video, we will take Ian's statement on patches and phases to be the true structure for Classic WoW. So let's start with a list of the 1.4 or Phase 2 additions to the Molten Core loot table. Starting off with 1.4 items, Brutality Blade, a favorite of all melee DPS. We also have Salamander Scale Pants, Mana Storm Leggings, Sorceress Dagger, Flamewaker Leg Plates, Heavy Dark Iron Ring, Helm of the Life Giver, Deep Earth Shoulders, Aged Core Leather Gloves, Quick Strike Ring, Magma Tempered Boots, Talisman of Ephemeral Power, Escander's Right Claw, Obsidian Edge Blade, Staff of Dominance, Crown of Destruction, Essence of Pure Flame, Perdition's Blade. Major Domo's entire loot table was also added in patch 1.4, spawning the meme, stay away from the chest.
Beautiful.
It
Beautiful.
was a squishy. Alright, everybody away from the chest.
Oh, what the fuck are you doing?
Hey,
Wow.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
We just got owned.
Master Loot
oh,
wasn't on.
fucker. What did he...
It's a chest that dropped.
All ninjas and memes aside, the Major Domo loot table for 1.4 included the Eye of Divinity, which turned into the fabled priest questline for Benediction and Anathema, the Ancient Petrified Leaf, which was the Hunter questline for Rockdalar and Lockdalar, Core Forged Greaves, Sash of Whispered Secrets, Wild Growth Shoulders, Wrist Guards of True Flight, Corehound Tooth, Finkel's Lava Dredger, Fireproof Cloak, and the Gloves of Hypnotic Flame. Oh, what's that? Did somebody say Thunder Fury, Blessed Blade of the Windseeker? That's right. I left legendaries out till now, But, as far as I'm able to tell, the bindings of the Windseeker are a patch 1.4 edition, even though it was not available to be crafted into Thunder Fury until BWL's release, an Elementium ore that is used in the quest chain. Also, Sulfurous, Hand of Ragnaros, is a 1.4 edition based on the Eye of Sulfuron dropping from Ragnaros. Moving on to the patch 1.5 editions, we have the Ring of Spell Power, Robe of Volatile Power, Wrist Guards of Stability, Fire Runed Grimoire, Flame Guard Gauntlets, Mana Igniting Cord, Sabotage of the Flamewalker, Band of Sulfurous, and Onslaught Girdle. The Major Domo loot table was also expanded upon in 1.5, adding the Cauterizing Band and Fire Guard Shoulders. So what does all this even mean? Is this good? Is this bad? Should we care items are coming in later patches? Well, some might argue that it's good that higher power level items are coming in later phases. It might add to a slower sense of progression and keeps power creep away for as long as possible. But this argument kind of falls through when you see some of the items available at launch that are overpowered due to their 1.12 itemization. As far as Molten Core loot goes, the biggest offender here is Bone Reaver's Edge, which is hands down the best two-hander you can get until AQ 40. Another issue with this patch by patch, phase by phase release of items is that 1.5 editions in phase 3 will come out with the phase 3 release of Blackwing Lair. It seems strange that some Molten Core items are not even available until the next raid tier releases, and that was not how it was in vanilla. Patch 1.5 was in June 7th, 2005, and BWL released on July 12th, 2005, giving slightly over a month that these 1.5 edition items were in the game and you could obtain them before BWL released. In order to expand on this notion, let's look at the timeline for Vanilla WoW. It was released November 23rd, 2004. Patch 1.4 was May 5th, 2005. Patch 1.5 was June 7, 2005. And, like I said, BWL is patch 1.6, July 12th, 2005. To give a little perspective into the raiding scene and how many people were actually in Molten Core, the world first Ragnaros kill was on April 25th, 2005. A mere 9 days before patch 1.4 was released, adding to the loot table. So, for all intents and purposes, the majority of the player base may not have even stepped foot in Molten Core before patch 1.4 released these items. With this in mind, in my opinion, I think 1.4 items should be released on launch in Phase 1, and the 1.5 items could be in Phase 2. Another option Blizzard could take is, due to the fact there were 5 months, 13 days between release and patch 1.4, you could delay patch 1.4 to coincide with Phase 2 of Classic, but I would also, in that case, keep 1.5 editions in Phase 2 as well. So, on launch, you have the original loot table, and in Phase 2, all of the additions to the Molten Core are included, therefore they can be obtained before Blackwing Lair's release. Anyways, those are just two ways Blizzard could handle loot by phases, and I think is a little bit better than Phase 2 and Phase 3 editions. When Classic actually launches, and we know for sure how loot will be divided amongst the phases, I will update this video, or if I got anything wrong, let me know in the comments, I'll make changes. In the meantime, if you'd like to do some research on items, their patches, and or phases yourself, I'll leave a link in the description to itemization.info, which is a fantastic database for vanilla items, when they were added, when they were updated, and a full list of their updates by patch. So, which version of loot by phase would you prefer to see? Let me know in the comments, or if you'd like to see a version of this video for Onyxia's lair and the items dropped by Onyxia, I can do that as well. Let me know. I have some other ideas for videos, but if you'd like to see anything in particular, leave a comment. And also feel free to subscribe. I'll be adding more stuff here, and I'd like to delve into the more obscure and relevant and useful information, not just clickbait. Thanks for watching.